Hello guys, I'm just getting ready to do a pour on this little stretch canvas, and just before I start, just wanted to show you what I did. I've already done one earlier, that's why there's mess there. What I did was I actually popped these wedges inside and tightened up the canvas a little bit, not too much because I don't want it too tight, but see how you can hear that? It's like a drum. That's sort of what you want. And you can pour resin over these smaller ones when you tighten it just a little bit. It's good, not too tight, otherwise the resin will pull the canvas and it'll warp. It will just get this the frame out of whack, and that's not what you want. Now then I've just taped the sides. Okay, I managed to make a bit of a mess there, but that's all right. When you tape, get something like a stick or something and push that in really well. Okay, so this is just a masking tape. It does work, but if you push it in into the fiber of that canvas, it'll work really well. Okay, and another thing, the push pins, they're really useful, because when I put them over my cups like this, and these cups are reusable ones, I've already used them before for resin, but they can still be used as stands. So when I pop my canvas over the top of it, it is raised a little bit, so the canvas, the back of the canvas, is not actually sitting on the bottom of this cup, creating a really nasty mark underneath it, looking something like this. See, that's resin. I'll take that off, but it's going to be hard to take it off the actual canvas without ripping the canvas. Okay, and because that's where it's sitting, it's got nowhere to drip, and it's just collecting in that one area, and you know, it's just, even with the tape, it just creates a lot of grief later on. So this is really cool because it just lifts it up enough so those drops can fall down around the cup and onto the cup, but not actually be sitting in their own the drops. So that's that. I'm going to get prepared now, mix my resin, and we'll get started. Good morning everybody, good day, good evening, wherever you are in the world at this very moment. This is just going to be a resin pour, a very simple one for all the newbies out there who are just starting off and they're worried and scared and nervous. I just want to show you how easily you can do painting. What I did here is I just poured one part of my resin mix, the hardener. It's a 2:1 ratio, this particular one. You do get different resins with different ratios. This is just the one that I'm using. So I'm using this little cup because I'm estimating the amount that I will be needing for this little piece. So 1 cup went in. So now I have to put 2 parts of the resin right in, all the way up to the top. This is the easiest way to measure, although you can use a measuring cup, but I tend to not clean them properly and then I have to throw them away. So this works well for me. Try to scrape every little bit out. Of course you can't get all of it out, but I find with this resin, if I'm a little bit out with my measurements, it doesn't really matter. So another cup going in, right up the top. Ooh. Okay, that is really full, which is okay because it makes up for those little bits that stayed behind. It's morning here and I'm still in my pajamas. I thought I'd do this thing quickly just to show you how easy and quickly you can do a resin painting with very little effort. So it should take a couple of minutes. Because it's a little bit cool this morning, probably will take about a minute or two, but usually on a really nice warm day it only takes a half a minute to mix it up. So I'll mix this and then I'll come back. Okay, so that's mixed now. So if I want to use this little cup, what I do is I just pour some of this resin back in there and give that a really good stir. I will use a smaller stick for that, just to pick up all those bits of resin excuse me, that haven't mixed in properly. And then you can use this cup to put your pigment in. Otherwise you wouldn't get a really nice clear mix if you left those residues of unmixed resin. So as soon as you see that it's nice and clear and no stringy bits, it means it's ready. You will get some bubbles in there, so don't beat it, you know, when you're mixing it. You're not making a cake. Just give it a little gentle stir, and there's no stringy bits. Scrape the sides, go through the middle, and then it can go back in there with the rest. And then give that another little stir. So I have my little alcohol wipe. They're really handy to wipe your hands or wipe your gloves, so you don't have to go through so many gloves. Okay, so that is ready now. Okay, so I've got my pigments ready. I was going to do a really quick and easy negative space for you guys. So I've got a Royal Purple by Artisue. That's going to be my negative space. Okay, so I'm going to need a fair bit of that, so I'm going to leave that in this cup here. Okay, that's going to be the last one. Where's my little cups? These are really great, or you can use one of these and cut it. They're really easy to cut, just with a X-Acto knife or scissors. Actually, scissors probably better. And you've got a really good flexibility for those detailed pieces. So okay, I've got a bit of rhodolite. This is a metallic pigment by Artisue. So I'm only going to put about that much in. Maybe a little bit more. Actually, won't really need that much because I'm only going to do a tiny little bit. I'm used to doing a bit larger pieces, so I get a little bit overexcited about how much I put in. No more than 10% of any paint, if you're using acrylic or oil paints, no more than 10%, but this pigment is specially formulated for resin art, so you only need a tiny little bit and it does the job beautifully. And I'm going to have some white, which I'm going to put in this cup here. Once again, don't need that much, just a tiny bit. Get rid of that. And also I have some, just a little bit of gold, which I am going to put in this cup, and I'll cut it up for you if I could find my scissors. This gold, which is absolutely amazing, look at that, gorgeous. Just for, I'm going to be using it for a little bit of accent. So what I do is I pinch this cup a little bit and just go, there you go. So that's made a hole for me, and all I do is go around and cut it. And because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I like to trim it down a bit. I don't like seeing those bits sticking out. So now I can see a little bit of something in there, so I just wipe it with my little cloth there, as well as my dry cloth. You've got to have everything ready. You have to have things around that you can use. And I only need a little speck of that, because that's just going to be my accent. In it goes. Okay, so now to mix. Now you can pour your resin in your cups first and then mix your paint. That's fine. Oops, wrong one. So here we go. Like I said, just a tiny little bit. These are just going to be our little accent, bit of zhuzh over that negative space. Don't need a lot. And I was thinking, might just do a dirty pour, just to make it real easy. I actually did a painting yesterday. It was supposed to be for the newbies, for the beginners, but I realized that maybe it was a bit too hard for beginners, so I decided to do a new one. Sometimes it's hard to really simplify things when you're used to doing more complex things. It just becomes second nature. So this one should be just right for you guys. Give it a good stir. Once again, try to be gentle. And that's that. This one. This white is just amazing. And while you're stirring, every paint or every pigment will do different things. It will react to resin differently. So watch and observe what's going on. So if you see specks of pigment, just stir it in a bit more. It's just it's common sense. Whoops, that's that. And then the gold, which is amazing. So what I'm doing is I'm just scraping that gold off my stick and then stirring that in. That is so beautiful, that gold. And now I don't know if I told you, I didn't, did I? This one, this colour is Caribbean Sea Metallic Pigment by Artisu. I just love using these pigments. They really work for me because they create some really beautiful things on your board. And the colors are amazing, but you can use anything. And if you haven't seen my video on what you need as a newbie, have a look, scroll down, should be underneath this video, and you'll get an idea there. So I'm just going to use another cup now because I want to preserve some of this clear just in case I need it for later. And I want a really deep color here. This is Royal Purple by Artisu. Okay, and I'll just show you what they look like. This is what the packaging looks like. It's an Australian company, and they do ship, I believe, to America and other countries. But like I said, you can use all types of pigments. Just be mindful and be careful of mixing. Start nice and small and then add more, because your resin will seize up if you have too much paint in there, or if it doesn't like whatever's in that paint. Okay, So what I'll do is I will add all of this in there. I thought I had enough, but no, I don't think so. I want to make sure that I've got plenty. Whoops, stay there. Okay, so give that a nice little stir. So while that's sitting there, I'm just going to prepare for my dirty pour. I will cut this again. And like I said, you can use a knife if you like. This one's going to be a little bit bigger. I just need to have that little spout. Ooh. There you go, that took, what, 5 seconds? Okay, so here we go. We're going to prepare this for our pour, dirty pour. Just going to put in some white first. All the way. Put the whole thing in there. And then I'm going to go with this lovely Caribbean sea. Once again, straight in. If you're doing a larger piece, obviously you can split this and put bits in and not dump it all in like I am. And some of this lovely rhodolite over the top of that. And then some, but not all of my gold. I'm just going to go across. See how you can create that little spout? It's more controlled. So I'm going to leave some because I might need that to decorate. Okay, so let that sit now. I was thinking of going this way. I don't know if you can notice that little spot there. What that is there was a tear in the canvas, which I haven't noticed. So all I did was I just popped some super glue underneath it just to seal that, because resin will leak. You can put a bit of sticky tape underneath and just really scratch it in, but I'm worried about it leaking and I don't like having a messy canvas. So let's go. Alright, because I want it to go that way, I'm just going to pour a little bit of this down here. Looks pretty dark from up there, I know. And then you can spread it with your stick or your palette knife or whatever you like. I like to use my hands. So that's what I'm going to do, because I've got better control with using my hands. And I have my lovely wipes here, which I can use to clean my gloves. So what I do is just use your hands and spread that nicely. So you can go as thick or thin. If you don't like using your hands like I do, use a palette knife. You can even use a brush. There's no problem using a brush if you want to. Okay, so what I like to do, I have to stand up. I like to continue this to the edge. I like it falling down the edges, but I don't like to waste it. Sorry if my head was in the way then. So as I'm moving this lovely pigment, it's starting to look like that beautiful royal purple. Okay. There we go. I am going to spread it out this way a little bit more. Not too worried about the edges at the moment because I can fix them after, and all the little bits that fall down, providing that your table is clean, you can pick them up and just put them on the sides. Okay, so now that I've done that side, I'm going to put some over here and do the same. So I'll probably speed this up. So I've cleaned my hands now with my alcohol wipe, and now we need to use a torch to bust some of these bubbles. You can use a bigger, larger torch. You can use a heat gun. I'm just using this little one for now. And if you see a little piece of hair or some fluff or something, you pull it out straight away. Okay. You can even use a little pin, push pin to do that. Whatever you've got handy, it's good. Okay, so now that we've done that, now we're ready to go with our dirty pork. Here it is, that's what it looks like, and I have no idea what it's going to turn out like, because you just don't know, do you? So what I'll do is I might just go from here. Because I've got that white there and no white down here, I'm just going to go down again. Might come this way as well. Just trying to get all of that out. And you can sit your cup here and get most of the resin out. So now we've got that, we're just going to do some tilting. A little bit tilting that way. And a bit over this way. Okay. So just a little bit of tilting. Definitely going to torch it. Your torch is your best friend here. because it really helps loosen down that the resin. So you've got, see how it's more flexible now. Okay. What I will do is I will use my hand, but you can use a palette knife. See, I've got a palette knife. If you are not confident with using your hand, or you just don't like it, that's fine. Use a palette knife and just do a little swipe over. It's nice to have a little bit of falling over the edge. Okay, and we want to go move this over that way a little bit, just to bring it closer to that purple. And I'll let that fall over the edge. Do the same over here. So I'm just bringing it together now. That's all you do. Like I said, for me, it's much easier to use my hand, because I've got a really good feeling of how hard I have to press. Here we go. And don't forget that we do have some of that gold left, which we're going to use as a bit of accent here. I'm using 3 fingers now, moving that over the edge. I want it falling over and creating something really cool. Don't be afraid to use your hands. So I just have to look over here now and make sure that I've got that going over. So what I'll do now is I'm going to tilt it again a little bit. But I just want to tilt it that way, because I want that fall down there. If I could catch some of that in a cup, would be great. Okay, so now I have to look and see. Yep, so that's looking good. Beautiful. Back into its place. And just want to fix these bits a little bit. What you got to do when you're an artist, you got to learn how to fix things if you have to. Okay, so that's looking good. Now we've got some of that lovely gold that we can use, and all the little bits of paints that I've left in these cups, only about 2 drops, they can come in handy as well. So what I want to do is I just want to go make your spout and then just run from here across. This gold is really amazing, this particular one. Let it run down. I want to go this way as well. Maybe go that way a bit. Just give it some fun. Okay. Just let it run down a bit, just because we can. So now I'm dragging it because there's none coming freely, so I'm just dragging it. Okay, that's that for the gold. Got a little bit of this white left. Okay. You can pick up your paint with your stick and just run that. Create something fun. fun when you're painting. Okay, that's that one. Do a bit more of this, which I might just go this way. And again, I'm just going to drag it through. Some more of this beautiful Caribbean sea. I'm trying to make a little bit of balance here. So I'm going from here. Let that run down a bit. And move this way. And that way. I might actually even do one of these. Resin is just so much fun. So you could have left it at that first bit. You could leave it at this, or you could just keep going. It's up to you what you do. Just making sure that my edge here is looking great. And I just noticed that I need some of this blue. So I'm just going to pop that in there. Now I've got some drips, so I can pick them up. Go away. Pick up some drips. And pop them down. Okay. Clean my hands. Now I'm going to torch the whole thing again. Very simple. Simple and elegant. Except for the little bubbles that don't want to pop. You can always get them. So I've got some left over of this purple, which I left on purpose in there, so I can fix these edges. So you don't want to have this white showing. And you just go around with this and do the sides. Got to do the sides. So I'm just literally just dripping this down, just making sure that that edge is not showing. Sides you can fix even later on. These edges, you want them to look nice and neat. Same here, see that edge? So what I'm doing is just going around, and even though it's darker now, it just gives it that extra depth. And I actually don't mind that there's a different shade here, because that just gives it more interest. Okay, so I just got some more here. Okay, I want to show you something else now. I'm going to use my heat gun and show you how you can move these and open them up. Okay, this is just a 2 setting, and I'm going to use the You've seen how I've done that. Sorry, just for a second. I don't know if that's oh no, it's not. You can also use your heat gun to push the painting whichever way you want it to go. If you want it to go that way, so you can do that by tilt it. But I find that the heat gun will loosen up your resin and it'll be so easy to move, and it'll just do what you want it to do. Become your tool. When I use any tool, my whole body becomes that tool. I just need to take control of what I'm doing. Okay, so I do still have some more of that purple that I can put around, and that white is absolutely amazing, and I think I need a little bit over here. There's not a lot left. Is there any of my... Sometimes you can scrape up a tiny little bit, and I tend to be able to, which is really awesome. So I need some more of that white. I just think it needs a bit of something, and maybe even a little bit of that gold. A little bit goes a long way, guys. When you watch videos of people doing resin art, a lot of the time you will see resin spilling over the sides and it all gets wasted. I would like to teach you not to waste your resin. Don't waste it. Even these little bits that fall on the ground, you can use them to resin something like a CD or something like that, make a little clock out of it. There's no need to waste. And I know some people probably don't have time to bother with that, but it's nice to not waste things, because it is expensive, isn't it? So I managed to scrape up some of this gold. And you can use your stick to create effects, like I just did just there. I just love this gold. Some more of that white, which turned into a really lovely violet, which is fine. I'm just going to pour that over here. Oops, and there. Sometimes you get drops and drips, but that's fine. Resin is very, very forgiving. There you go. So I've got a bit of white there, so it looks like it's better. Now I'm going to hit it with the heat. Alright, so there you have it. Pretty cool. I'm probably gonna tilt it around a little bit and get some more movement here. So yeah, I just quite like what I see. A little bit that way. Okay. And I'm going to tilt some on the other side just to get that edge happening. It's really hard to see what I'm doing with this glare. So it's tilting a bit slower now because it's starting to set. That's no problem. I don't want to get rid of that white, so I will stop there. Go back a bit. Alrighty. rid of that white. Just giving it something extra, and now I'm going to use up all of this for my edges. Oops. Just going to give it a little bit more of this. When that happens, you always have some leftover resin. Cover it up. So there you have it. That's that. It doesn't look too bad, does it? From up there, I've got a little bit of this mix left in here. Actually, I don't think yeah, that's the drips, so I can use that to add. Just quite cool. Just like that. Don't want that to go down a bit, so, and like so. Okay. You want to get a little bit more fancy, use your stick and make some interesting things happening. That looks a bit boring, so what you can do is pick up some of this dark from down here and go straight through it, out there. It's changed it straight away. That's only a tiny little bit of resin on your stick. That's looking a bit boring there. So all I'm doing is just dragging. You don't have to stop. As long as it's still moving, you can keep going. I tend to not stop. I just keep going because I feel that I can do more to it. Sometimes it looks like it's totally ruined, but then you do something else and it looks great again. Yeah. Now, that's pretty much. Oh, my little dog's barking. Somebody dare make a noise. So I'm just picking up stuff from the bottom. I'm quite happy with that, actually. Sometimes, excuse me, got a frog in my throat again. Sometimes it looks like if you have a feeling like, oh no, I've ruined it. But then you can fiddle with things. It's all right to do that. Keep going. There's lots left. There's always enough resin that you can fix things and keep going with it. I'm just tapping a little bit of this dark negative space. Doesn't have to be white or black. Can be another color, like I'm using here. So what I'll do now, guys, is you've got the idea. I'm just going to go around with this little bit of this the edges and just touching up the sides, and then I will bring you closer so that you can have a look at what we've done. Okay, so I just done the sides. I've got to torch it more because I can see those bubbles appearing. I'm going to have a nice glass like finish. Got to get rid of the bubbles. Some of them look like bubbles, but they're not. They're probably little specks of dust which you have to manually remove. You can use a stick or you can use some sort of a tool, whatever helps to remove those. Sometimes it's just the canvas, but either way, you just got to try and remove as much as you can. So this video has been going on for about 45 minutes now. 47 minutes. I will edit and make it shorter, but just to show how long you can play with resin, as long as you keep heating it up with the torch or your heat gun. Heat gun is probably more gentler. It will loosen up, you know, so you can work with it longer. But don't hold your torch or your heat gun too long in one spot because you will burn it. That's one thing that you've got to learn. I learned the hard way. And then you can fix it. Like I said, it's not much you can't fix. So you just have to recoat it afterwards. If you burn it while it's still wet, that's easy. Just pour some resin straight over it. But if it's already starting to dry and you burn it, you can't really fix that. You have to wait for it to set and then do another coat over it. So what I did was I just went around and I touched up all the edges. So they still look a little bit lighter, but that's fine. And you can scrape all just make it a little bit easier for yourself. Just scrape the underneath to help yourself after when removing the tape. And you can pop it back over there, you know. Waste not, want not, they say. And I sure am one not to waste things. It doesn't matter if it's got a bit of, see how that's got a slightly different color. That's cool. Actually gave it some interest. And yeah, just go around. Probably would be helpful if you use the right color, so you're not mixing colors. So I'll be doing this for probably the next half an hour. You don't have to. I just like to have it done right and make sure that I have less to do afterwards. because it will drip. This will keep moving, keep setting, and it will drip down the sides, and then you have to get rid of those drips. And the tape sometimes, well, most of the time the tape helps, but sometimes it gets stuck and you have to either reheat it again with a torch and then scrape it off, or that's another tutorial for another day. But for now, just try to babysit it a little bit, do the sides. Sometimes you might have something, you know, a bubble that's been hiding underneath, it'll pop up, so you got to get to it in time. And so okay, I think that's enough for my talking, so I'll just keep doing this and I will show you the results as soon as it starts to set a bit more. Here it is, the sides. I'm still going around and touching them up just with the leftover purple that I have, and it actually gets better as the resin starts setting. It's easier for it to stick, so I'll show you the results after it's been done. Okay, so let's go closer. A few little cells there. That gold is just amazing, isn't it? A little bit of interest there. Okay, so there you go. It's nice and easy and simple. I probably fiddled with it too much. You could have just done with just the pour and a bit of heat and it's done, but I tend to fiddle a lot because I like to control it a little bit and go with the flow. And when I see somewhere that, you know, it needs a bit of something, I will do it. But that comes with experience, and sometimes, you know, you don't even need experience. You just go with the flow, just relax, give into it. And I love that part there. Yeah, just give into it. Surrender to it, and then it will do its own thing. So I hope that was useful and handy for you guys. I will be doing some more paintings for the new people who are starting off with or you know, who are starting out with resin and want to know more different techniques, and we can do this course together and work up to a more difficult techniques. So stay tuned, and I will see you in another video. Bye for now. Here we go. It's been several hours. It's all set now, but I won't be touching it because it's still sticky. It actually looks quite pretty. Very subtle ribbons and nice and smooth. There's no bubbles, so you can see that, no bubbles. The sides, I will actually see they're dry but still a bit tacky. I will just mix some of this royal purple resin and just paint that on. So I'll leave that for another day. Probably do it tomorrow. So there you have it. I quite like that. It's pretty and simple and easy and elegant.